What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Falco as we continue through the final curtain, the ultimate best of. Thank you again to Michaela, both for the CD and the patience, as it took me quite a while to get to this, and also to Han Solo, who made Falco available and has been keen to have me get to it for quite a while. But yes, the second tune on here is the one tune of his I've seen other people reference in comments, so presumably Rock Me Amadeus is one of his bigger hits, because as I said, over the last few years there's been a couple times where I've seen people reference this track. As far as I know, I haven't heard it. I can't imagine the melody of the title phrase, so at the very least, if I have heard it, it's not something that I heard regularly or enough to recognize. But yeah, I mean, Amadeus, I assume there are other people named Amadeus other than Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, but inevitably my guess is that that is the reference being made here. Now, of course, Rock Me makes it sound like a mixture of Amadeus, Mozart's world, in which rock and roll was not yet around, nor was the phrase rock me, and something more modern. So I don't know what to expect here, whether we'll hear some melody either in the classical style more generally, or maybe even a Mozart melody specifically, or whether it's more about some interesting conceptual and thematic lyrics. Let's see what I can catch. This is Falco, the track is Rock Me Amadeus, and it's included on the greatest hits compilation called The Final Curtain.
In der großen Stadt, es war in Wien, war Vienna, wo alles tat. Hatte Schulden der Natur, doch ihn liebten alle Frauen. Und jede rief, da kann man Rock Me Amadeus. Er war Superstar, er war populär, er war so exaltiert, because er hatte Flair. Er war ein Virtuose, war ein Rockidol. Und alles rief, da kann man Rock Me Amadeus. Und es war irgendwie nur Plastic Money in den Modebanken gegen ihn. Woher die Schulden kamen, war wohl jedermann bekannt. Er war ein Mann der Frauen, Frauen liebten seinen Punk. Er war ein Superstar, er war so populär, er war zu exaltiert, genau das war sein Flair. Er war ein Virtuose, war ein Rockidol. Und alle suchten noch heute Captain Rock Me Amadeus.
That's a lot of fun. I really do love that synth keyboard lead. It's a really tasty melody. And then, in the first reaction I did to this compilation, Michaela and Mr. Solo were talking about a perhaps cross-pollination at a distance, not a direct collaboration, but between Falco and George Kranz. I hear that here, meaning some of the vocal work, which is like rhythmic and syllabic and more vocalization than proper words per se, it feels very much like something I wouldn't be surprised to hear in a George Kranz tune. So definitely that catches my ear, and I enjoy the rhythms of the track, which it's like a bit bigger in what I think is the chorus, and then it gets a bit choppier and more like frenetic and, as I said, like full of quirky vocals and sounds in the verses. I did hear a couple words in there that I guess are still in German, but are words that I guess are more or less the same or very similar to in English. Like superstar is a good example. I also thought I maybe heard punk in there, but I was less certain about that. But yeah, I do wonder whether this is actually about Amadeus and him being a superstar in his time and place, which is sort of true, but, not maybe the way we would understand the word superstar in the 21st or when this came out, 20th century. But yeah, I do wonder what's happening here. I knew that he sings in German and a little bit in English, and maybe I thought that's what would be happening here, but yes, with the exception of the title phrase, and again, maybe some words that essentially cross over pretty identically from English to German. It seems like it was almost entirely in German, so I look forward to Michaela or anyone else providing insight. But yeah, it's a fun tune. I don't think I've ever heard it before. I think I would remember if I heard this tune. So yes, maybe it just, didn't happen to hit the airwaves in my own, idiosyncratic upbringing in music, which is to say, again, like, groups like Depeche Mode and Erasure, which I don't think were huge over here at first. Eventually they did become big, but yeah, I heard them early on just because, again, the radio station that was popular among my older sister and to a lesser extent my older brother, they were playing some of these UK and European acts at a time when most of American radio was not interested. But yes, as I said, I don't think I ever heard this, but a very fun tune. When we come back next time, the song will be Egoist, and it's a remix, so apparently this is a secondary or later version of Egoist, so we'll look forward to that. Once again, big thank you to Michaela. Let me know what you think, and I will see you then. Peace.